Some students, NEET is the type of exam in which they used to ask the questions which rather confuse the student or let them do the mistakes. So, why these things are happening? The reason is obvious. When you are given with 4 choices to answer a question, definitely there is a confusion. And that too in the questions where the options are too much close to one another, too much close different. In that cases, how to attempt such questions? Secondly, that if you have ever given a subjective test, just like as you have given up to class 10th in your school exams, you are free to write whatever you can explain about a question. Means in that cases, you can write as much as you can because the examiner may not be going to check it seriously. So you are getting award, means you are getting rewarded for it. You are getting at least some marks. But this is not the same for an objective pattern exam or the multiple choice question papers, because here you are not left with your own thoughts. Many of the time we used to see in the previous years that the examiner wants to push the answer, or they are trying to get the answer whichever they like, means they are making you confused. Then what is the way to avoid such kind of confusions during the examination? The thing about which the student used to tell is about that I got confused because I thought that first is the answer and I am confused with the option number 2 as well. I marked it 2. The actual answer was 1. Some students used to say, I haven't studied it, so I don't have any answer for such question. The third kind of student is who is marking the answer correctly, maybe without knowing the fundamentals. Yeah, this is true because you are getting 4 options, you are getting 4 choices out of which 1 is correct. So it may be possible that you may mark the correct answer without knowing the fundamental, without knowing the concept. Means what the actual concept is behind that question. But this is not going to work always, because every year in the NEET exam, if you are going through the total track record, the questions are not the exact lines of the NCERT book or any of the textbook. It is more in particular a kind of paper where the questions are derived from the language of any textbook. So that's why the confusion among the students is obvious while attempting the paper. So to avoid any such type of confusions or to get the total command on the subject, you need to be strong in fundamentals, in the concepts. So here we are dealing in the fundamental study, not in guessing the answers. We are here to tell you how you are supposed to answer the questions without seeing the option as well. If it is an example, no doubt you can go for looking the options, what are they, 1, 2, 3, 4, which option is appropriate. But when the question is of little bit long statement type, you need to recalculate the things whatever you have studied about it. Most of the time such questions have the answer in the question itself. The question theory can explain about the answer very well, but only for those students, those who are strong in fundamentals. To get 360 out of 360 marks in biology becomes difficult for the students if they are reading NCERT only. What we need? Read the NCERT, practice twice, follow the class notes. That is the best strategy to get maximum in biology. It is not difficult to get 340 plus marks in biology. It's possible. And it is possible only if you are stronger in fundamental. If you are strong in fundamental, you have the chance to just make guesses in rest of the questions. Means it's kind of thing which we can say hit or trial method for remaining 2-3 questions, which were not told to you in the classes, which you haven't studied anywhere, which you haven't practiced in whole of your study of 1 year, 2 year or 3 year syllabus. So be clear about one thing, know the fundamentals, make yourself strong in the conceptual learning so that you can answer all the type of questions. You are watching Yup Master, you are on the Yup TV live channel on the YouTube. Those who are watching us on the YouTube live, subscribe the channel, press the bell icon so that they will get the notification of the coming up classes for the next topic. And those who have the app already downloaded on their mobile phones on their tablets. For them, the daily practice paper of each and every class is available. Go through the daily practice paper and improve your skills, improve your fundamentals, and raise your morale to attempt the actual paper that is going to be in NEET 2022. So, all the best in advance. Here we are going to start the topic, that is living world. I am Sumeet Sharma, who is going to explain you about the living world. The diversity in living world is the unit that we are going to study, and the living world is the chapter that deals with the difference firstly between living and non-living. The things that you are looking around you are living or non-living. This pen is non-living. How you can confirm this? So many people who don't know the actual differences, they can say very simply that this pen is non-living because if I am going to press it, it is not at all responding. It is not responding like my pet dog. It is not responding like a plant as well, right? So we say that there is a kind of thing in the living organism which is called as response. If I am going to hit the board, the sound is there, but it doesn't mean that this board is responding to me. No, it is not at all. I am regulating this board. I am monitoring this board, right? So living things are something which is not going to respond to my act, right? And the other type of features or which we are going to discuss here is the non-living things, if not responding to any type of changes in their surroundings, in that cases we can differentiate them from the living. One is animate, other is inanimate. Inanimate means non-responsive. Animate means those who are responsive. This is the actual difference between the living and the non-living. So response is one of the important feature. Although we have a doubt in studying these responses because the response given by an animal is totally different by the response given by the plants. We used to get sunshade every time we are looking for a shade when the light intensity is high. But the plants, they are not at all capable to move around. They are staying in the same place. Then how they are able to tolerate this much high light intensity? There must be some mechanism inside them. That is to be dealt with the other chapters coming later in the discussions. But firstly, we need to differentiate between the living and non-living. Before I start the topic, I need to tell the introduction of this chapter where the Ernest Mayr is mentioned. Ernest Mayr, the person who is rewarded with Triple Crown of Biology, means the 3 prestigious awards in biology he was awarded with. And this person, Ernest Mayr, has studied so many branches of biology. Means what he didn't studied, means those are few in number, and what he studied were many. So the number of branches that he studied includes ornithology, taxonomy, evolution, zoo geography, systematics, history and philosophy of biology. Now what are these? What does it mean by saying the word ornithology? The study of birds. What does it mean by saying taxonomy? Means grouping or classifying organisms. What does it mean by saying evolution? The living organisms change themselves and the older or the primitive species get replaced by the better one. That type of thing is studied in evolution. Just like us, we are modern men, Homo sapiens. Our ancestors were something else. Homo erectus, Ramapithecus, those are different names for them. So we replace them because we are being better than them. Zoo geography, the distribution, how the animals are getting distributed in different kind of habitat and why they are confined to one only kind of habitat. All the type of interactions are studied. Systematics, when taxonomy get combined with studying the relationship, how they evolved, how they developed, that type of condition is called as systematics. Very easy, I told you. Taxonomy plus relationship equal to systematics. The history and philosophy of biology. History and philosophy of biology means what biology is actually and what it is going to include and how to study the different streams in biology. This person, Ernest Mayr, who was awarded with the Triple Crown, means the 3 famous prizes in biology, is also known to coin the term that is called as biological species. Most accepted terminology for the present day definition of species. Means the definition which explains everything about the species, although in biology there are so many exceptions. So right now, without discussing the exceptions, I must tell you that what biological species actually means. The term biological species, or the concept what he told, biological concept of species. Okay, remember one thing very clearly, I am going to tell it later also, that species term was actually given by John Ray. John Ray proposed the term species. Okay, this person Ernest Mayr was telling about biological concept of species or biological species. So whenever I am saying group of fundamentally similar organisms are fundamentally similar. See this, organisms are fundamentally similar means they are having the same set of basic characters. Okay, human belong to human being. The reason is the parents are human beings. That's it. Here is the explanation. That comes the basis of biological species. Now, the same line which I said, that if we are human being, it is because of our parents were human. Okay, so it can be divided into two steps. One, that is called as gene pool, means the set of genes that I am having is because of my parents. One part I have got from my mother, other part got from father. Means the genes that I am possessing are paired. One set is obtained from father, the other set is obtained from mother. That's it. This is how we say if I am having pair of genes, I can call myself as diploid. Okay. Number two is that reproductive isolation. Remember, across the globe, if we are going to see that all the human being will have the same number of genes, this is believed, and they have equal number of chromosomes, means the structure on which the genes are present. So we say all the variable forms of the gene. Say for example, if my blood group is B, other person's blood group is AB, some other is having O blood type, it means we have different forms of blood types, or you can say different blood groups. It is because of what? Different forms of genes. So that's why I am saying I am integrating all the forms of gene in gene pool. All the possible genes for the same and the different characters are included as gene pool, right? And the reproductive isolation means human is going to breed within the human. So it means species is a closed system. I repeat, species is a closed system. So in that cases, I can explain it very clearly and very easy one. That is what that gene pool means. Collection of all genes and their types in the population, right? Okay, then it means what? That if I am having the genes for blood group, I am having the genes for the type of hair, I am having the genes for the skin color, these all, plus what type of variants they can have. Some people having fair skin, some people have the darker skin, some people have dark skin, all the type of things. Okay, the number of genes and their possible forms, everything is included in the gene pool. Now what reproductive isolation means? Reproductive isolation means, reproductive isolation can be written as the feature by which species become a closed system. Get it? Closed system. So if the species are becoming closed system, then the species are becoming closed system, it means the other kind of species are not allowed to breed in the other species. Say for example, species A, species B, A can breed with A, B can breed with B. In between A and B is not allowed in nature. That's why A is one species, right? B is the other species, right? This is how we can mention about reproductive isolation. Nature is not allowing this. Okay? Or the other thing, other character I can mention about this one, the reproductive isolation is, we can say it very easily. What? The reproductive isolation by which species are forming the closed system, we can add one more feature to it, and that is mentioned as what? That members of species interbreed. They don't breed outside. Clear? Or you can use the word inbreeding. They don't breed outside, right? Okay, fine. So these are the basics of biological species, that how they are classified, right? The brief and the explanation on the that side, but there is certain exceptions to these things. What are the exceptions? Exception number 1. The exception to biological concept of species or biological species is, first is the interspecific hybrids. We have such type of interspecific hybrids that includes between donkey and horse. Not going deep into this, I am just telling what donkey and horse can result into two kind of organism, either mule or hinny. But remember that if interspecific hybrids are formed, they are sterile, means the nature allowed breeding but made their offspring sterile, means mule and hinny are not at all reproducing. Just imagine this thing, if mule and hinny were considered to be the fertile one in nature, definitely we were not able to identify donkey, or there will be no separation between donkey and horse in our nature. So reproductive isolation is significant in maintaining the diversity. I repeat, reproductive isolation is important in maintaining the diversity, because here the two species are getting one. The two different species are getting into one. Whereas reproductive isolation says, no, we want donkey to be separated from horse. You are not supposed to mix them. Okay. So interspecific hybrids are usually sterile. I will say usually, not always. Not all example of interspecific hybrids are sterile. Okay. Number 2 is polymorphism. When the organisms of more than one type exist in the population, yeah, there is a difference. For example, in human being, the male and the female individuals are of different types. They appear different, they have different set of genes. Oh, not only this, in beehive, a social insect, we are observing the honeybee members are of 3 types: worker, queen and drones. The queen and workers are female, drone is male. Drone is having single set of genes. Worker and queen have paired set of genes. This is how they are different, right? Polymorphism means more than one kind of organism in population. More than one kind of organisms in population, right? Either you can take the example of organism who are dioecious, means where male and female individuals are different. Or the other example is like what? Honeybee. We have different type of organisms in the beehive. Honeybee, 3 type of members are there. The third example is called as genetic drift. The third exception is called as genetic drift, means in a small area, or you can say in a local population, the genes may get different from rest of the gene pool. Oh, the slight variation which is observed in small population in the genes is called genetic drift. I will say that a small or minute variation in gene constitution in a local population, remember, not the global, local, some specified area, that is called as genetic drift. So these are the things that we have studied, that these are considered as exception to biological species. Fine. So biological species we have explained here, that how the species are identified. So when I am telling about the species, you must know this thing, that this term is applicable to the living beings only, not the non-living. Now how to identify one living from the other one? As I told you, it is about their responses, it is about their behavior, how they are going to show for any kind of stimulus. Stimulus means the one which stimulates is called stimulus. Plural is stimuli. Okay, you can consider sunlight as a stimulus. You can consider water means the rainfall as a stimulus. You can consider temperature as stimulus. Many type of things are there that depends on the type of organism. One organism to different organism may show different kind of responses to these stimuli. Okay, so here is the thing that we are going to study, and this is the time when we need to know that what is living or how to define living from non-living. So there are certain features by which we can explain about or we can differentiate between the living and non-living. Here we are going to discuss the features of living. Okay, features of living. Let us see what things are going to, or what feature is going to make living unique from non-living things around us. Okay, I am going to tell you that what features are going to make living different from non-living. There are many features to identify life. Okay, here we are going to study what features are unique to living. Means possible is that a feature may be present in living and non-living both. Okay, so we need to be very clear about this. We need to be very clear about the things, that which things are responsible or are responsible of for what kind of things that makes living things different from non-living. The first character that I am going to tell you here is about growth. Now growth means, or you can say that growth means two things in living organism. The one is called as, I said, two. Two means here twin. Means you cannot consider that it is two different things. You need to consider them both together, right? You need to consider them both together, right? Twin basis. The twin basis of growth in the living things. Okay, don't consider one only. So if I say that what is the need for twin basis, the reason is here. This is mentioned increase in mass. The other side is mentioned as increase in number of individuals. If I am going to compare these things, I can observe increase in mass in non-living also. Even non-living are also exhibiting increase in mass, but they are not at all showing increase in number of individuals. For example, if this is a pen, as I told you, this is non-living. This is not going to be 2 tomorrow, day after tomorrow, or any time in the future. It will remain 1 only. Oh, if anyone is going to say I am going to break it into 2, so that is not the growth. It is extrinsic. When you are going to break it, it is extrinsic. Means you are making it or you are doing it externally to form the more number of individuals or more number of pens, right? The increase in number of individuals must be intrinsic. Okay, so here we say non-living things are not at all showing increase in their number of individuals. They are not at all increasing. Just imagine the table and chair will get multiplied. Today I kept in one room, next day they are going to be in gallery in the lobby also. Next day they are going to be in the entire of the assembly ground. Oh my God, it's not at all possible in them. Second thing, if I am going to tell about that are they present in the living things? Yeah, both of them are present in living things. True. Now how to define, how to differentiate the two? How to say that why they are considered to be different? So I need to be very clear about this, that growth is present in all living beings. I repeat, growth is present in all living beings, but the thing is that when twin bases of growth in living things are considered, you need to consider in the living things only, not in non-living. So if anyone is asking that growth is exclusive to living beings, answer is no. Answer is clear cut, no. I repeat, growth in terms of increase in mass, right? In terms of increase in mass, both living and non-living. It will be seen in both. So growth is not exclusive feature to living beings. Remember this. Therefore, growth is not exclusive, or you can say unique, to living things. Okay, done. That type of thing we can mention. Very, very important things. Most important lines. Growth is present in living and non-living both. Growth is not exclusive to the living things, but that to be considered in the terms of what? Mass, not in the number of individuals. Be clear about this. So whenever we are talking about these things, we need to be very clear that how the increase in mass is same or different in living and non-living. Let me tell you this thing. In non-living, this increase in mass will occur from outside. Okay, this shirt may become heavy if I am going to attach one pen here, right? I am going to wear one jacket. This is external, this is from outside. Say for one example, sand dunes. With the wind, sand collected on one side, that size increased. Okay, then again wind is moving it, means again it got decreased. Sponge, put it in water, the weight get increased, the mass get increased. But when you are going to squeeze it, the water again drained out. It means the mass increase is seen in non-living, but it is reversible. The mass which is getting added to it is coming from outside. So 3 points I can mention here. 1, the matter is added from outside, so increase in mass in non-living is extrinsic. Second point, that how the increase in mass is observed in non-living is reversible. One is extrinsic, number 2 is reversible. Okay, right? In that cases, if I am going to compare with the living, the things are different. Okay, let's see. I will tell you the character. That it is first of all extrinsic, means from outside matter. Number 2, it is reversible. Okay, wait, we will come for the next character as well. Here see this. In living, this increase in mass from inside. Your mass will increase if you are going to eat something that will get assimilated in your body. Some of the mass may get digested and excreted, right? But the remaining things which is getting stored in your body. See, if any person is going to eat a lot and the metabolic rate is very less, definitely the person will become fat. Now that fat, that obese, that character is because of internal characters or the internal feature. The weight is increased from the inside. That is what? Intrinsic. Now wait, what type of things are increasing? What type of things are increasing weight in the living body? It can be either living or non-living. Both type of things can increase the mass in living thing. I repeat, 2 types of things are there by which the mass of living can increase. Either it is non-living. What? For example, in a plant, take the example of tree. In tree, wood is formed, which is increasing the diameter of the tree as well as the weight of the tree. But that wood is considered as dead. Apoplastic means the one which is dead matter. The protoplasm, living content is increasing, that is symplast is increasing. So 2 type of things can increase the mass in living, whether dead matter, apoplastic, or the living matter, protoplasmic, means symplast. Either of the things can increase the mass. Okay, I hope it is very clear to you. Number 2, that whatever I am going to do, say for example, because of the things that I have taken from outside, I increase my body mass and now I am trying to lose my body weight. Okay, done. By dieting, by following the exercise routine and everything, I reduce my body mass, but my body size remains the same. My height is same even after running for kilometers every day. Running 10, 15, 20 kilometers a day. Clear? 150 kilometers in a month. In that case also my body height is same. It means that I am not at all going to lose each and every aspect of growth. So in my body, growth is irreversible. Where you have observed these things? I have observed these things when glaciers are increasing in winters, decreasing in summer. I have seen these type of example for sand dunes. Now, my body height increased with time, with my age actually, okay. But with the time, boulders, means rocks are getting disintegrated into smaller rock particles. So this is reverse. We were expecting that their size must increase, but here the size is decreasing with the time. So this is how we can compare the increase in mass in living and non-living. So can you say this thing that growth is unique to living? Answer is no. It is not at all. In terms of mass, I can justify that even the non-living is showing increase in mass. So definitely I can say one thing very clearly, line from the NCERT, growth cannot be taken as defining property of living, means not unique. Okay, that kind of character we used to mention about. That is the simple thing that we need to know. This is about the growth, right? The next feature, other things that we are going to tell, here it comes. That growth in non-living and living, I told you. Next is coming here, and here we are discussing the characters, that is about that how the growth is going to result. See the term that I told you, what increase in number of individual. Increase in number of individuals. I will say biotic. Biotic increase or biological increase in number of individuals is called as reproduction. So when we are saying reproduction, it means, oh, doubt, the same line I told it about what? I told the same line about what? Growth. Increase in number of individuals taken as reproduction. Now this is creating a problem. Increase in number of individual. If I say increase in number of individual is seen only in living, it is seen only in living. But still I am having a doubt. What? That how the uni and multicellular organisms are different. See, very clearly I am saying, in unicellular organism, if I say that what happened there, so we will say that in unicellular organism, reproduction occurred by, or reproduction takes place by cell division, okay, or short form you need, the better refined theory, I will tell you that one also. See, learn this thing, learn this way, the best one. What is the result of cell division in unicellular organism? The result of cell division in unicellular organism will cause what? Increase in number of individuals. This will be increase in number of individuals. Okay, and if I am moving to the other side in multicellular organism, then the cell division will result in increase in number of cells only. You can say my body cells or my body is increasing in size because of increase in number of cells. It's possible. Now the two things are different. Here increase in number of cells is considered as growth in my body, whereas increase in number of individuals as where in unicellular organism like amoeba, euglena, in paramecium, most of the bacteria, we are observing that increase in number of individuals is reproduction, whereas increase in number of cells is growth. Okay, now I have a doubt. The same cell division has resulted in two different phenomena. Reproduction in unicellular, growth in multicellular. Right? I repeat, the same phenomena, cell division, has created two different things in two different type of organism. In unicellular organism, cell division has resulted into reproduction. In multicellular organism, it resulted into growth. So theoretically people started saying like this, that it seems there is no growth in unicellular organism, or the growth and reproduction are one and the same event in unicellular organism, whereas in multicellular organism growth is something different from reproduction. Definitely, here I will say again, increase in number of individuals in unicellular organism, this is stated as reproduction, right? In multicellular organism also it is stated as reproduction. So I have two distinct things in multicellular, growth and reproduction. Am I saying the same thing in the unicellular? No. Theoretically it seems that unicellular organisms are not showing distinct growth and reproduction. I am not saying that they don't show growth. No, growth is there in all living organisms, right? So here is the line that I wish to write, and that is what: for unicellular organism, growth and reproduction are not mutually exclusive. They are not different from each other. By this line you cannot interpret that unicellular organism doesn't grow. They grow, definitely they are growing. Remember, a unicellular, any kind of unicellular organism exhibits growth. Okay, all organisms exhibit growth. Here theoretical things are making something different. For unicellular organism like Euglena, amoeba, paramecium, bacteria, the growth and reproduction are not mutually exclusive, whereas those are mutually exclusive events for multicellular organism. Okay, fine. The next character or the next thing that we need to know here is about the feature, that is how the organisms reproduce. So there are two types of reproduction. One is asexual, where the cell divides, and there are so many types. Clear? There are so many types of reproduction. Asexual reproduction, binary fission, as we see in where this can be seen in yeast, you can see this in bacteria and many other unicellular organisms. Okay, budding you can see in yeast, other example is hydra. Fragmentation in filamentous algae means multicellular, or the juvenile of mosses, that is protonema. Regeneration in hydra, planaria, whereas spore formation in algae, fungi, these places. So asexual reproduction is having different types, different organisms. You can write like this, that diverse kind of organisms are exhibiting diverse kinds of asexual reproduction. Okay, whereas whatever be the type of organism, if it is reproducing sexually, it means the cells will fuse, and the events, irrespective of the complexity of the organism, irrespective whether organism is uni or multicellular, the events will be same. They'll form gametes, those gametes will get fused, will form the zygote. It will be same for all type of organism if they are reproducing sexually. Remember, if any organism reproduces sexually, it is going to show the same kind of events as compared to the other kind of organism, right? So in that cases, irrespective of the kind of organism, fertilization and meiosis are present. The two events which are compulsory in sexual reproduction are fertilization and meiosis. That is obvious to be there. Okay, whatever be the type of organism, whether human beings or any plant, or even any unicellular eukaryotic organism, like any type of algae, if you are saying, if it is belonging to Protista or the kingdoms, like we have studied these basic things in earlier session. You can watch them on the Yup Master app. The basic things were told like this. Okay, so here is the thing that we have mentioned about the sexual reproduction. The other character, wait, before that, before I move further, here I will say there can be a sterile human couple. I can say there can be a sterile human couple. Which those people, those who don't want to have children or maybe not having any children because of some physiological problems. Number 2, the worker honeybee. Okay. Number 3, mule, hinny, or I will say most of interspecific hybrids. These all are examples which are not reproducing, which do not reproduce. Okay, fine. So it means if I am going to state that like what? That growth is seen in all living organisms, true. Reproduction is not seen in all living organisms. So I cannot state that reproduction is an exclusive character of all living organisms. No, reproduction is exclusive to living things but not to all living things. Not to all living things. Fine. Metabolism. What is metabolism? Metabolism means our body, or you can say in each of the cell there are so many molecules which are interacting with each other. When they are interacting with each other, in that cases the molecules are either getting broken down or they may be combining to form the new kind of molecule. So that type of reactions that are occurring in the cell together named as metabolic reactions. We can call them as living reactions also. I repeat, they are saying the chemicals small and big belonging to various classes, sizes, functions, etc. are constantly being made and changed into some other biomolecules. Okay, so those chemicals in the cell are called as biomolecules. Okay, those are called as biomolecules, and here I can say this thing that these chemicals, in that cases we are saying these chemical changes or chemical reactions therefore are called metabolic reactions and as taking place in all living things. In all living beings it is taking place. We used to say them as living reactions, not living things. Remember, these are called living reactions. Don't call them as living things. You can even perform these reactions in vitro, means outside the body. I repeat, you can perform these things outside the cell also. Metabolic reactions can be performed outside the cell. But remember, that doesn't make a reaction as a living thing. Okay, we are still calling them as what? Living reaction, not living things. These will be named as living reactions, not living things. Outside the body or outside the cell, if I am saying, better you use the word outside the body. That will be considered as what? Living reaction. In vitro I am saying. When it is written outside the body, I will call it as in vitro. Okay. So that is the thing we are going to discuss here. So this is the way by which we can explain that what metabolism actually means. Okay, what metabolism actually means. Metabolism is seen in all living, okay, all living without any exception. Okay, just like growth is seen in all living, metabolism is also seen in all living. And metabolism is unique to, metabolism is unique to living beings. Remember, You can call it as defining property. You can say it is unique to living things. Fine. Next is about the metabolic reaction, which are of two types. As I told you, that reaction, in these reactions either the molecules are getting broken down or they are getting formed, means the smaller molecule get joined to form the larger one. The larger molecule get broken down into the smaller one. So first is the kind which we used to say that breaking of complex molecule into smaller. Breaking of complex molecule into smaller is called as catabolism. And the building up of molecules which are smaller to the higher one is called as anabolism. So digestion of food and glycolysis means splitting of sugar. Glycolysis means splitting of sugar is an example of what? Catabolism. And when we talk about anabolism, means the building of higher molecules from the smaller or smaller into higher. See, all about manipulation of the words. I am saying smaller to higher or higher from smaller. Same thing. Will be an example seen in glycogenesis. Glycogenesis means glycogen is getting formed from glucose in our body is an example of anabolism. Or photosynthesis by plant where CO2 and H2O get combined to form carbohydrates. Those are anabolism. Built up is anabolism. Breakdown is catabolism. Right? Fine. So next thing, where this metabolic reaction is taking place. The metabolic reaction is taking place in the protoplasm by the enzymes. Remember that enzymes are produced in the cell and they are acting in the cell or outside the cell. But that is necessary for performing metabolic reactions. Only the cell can form such enzymes. Remember, we are still not able to synthesize enzymes artificially in laboratory. We got success in making the artificial gene, but not the proteins or the enzymes. So here we are saying what they require, what they need. The metabolic reactions require cell, the place where these reactions are taking place. The cellular organization is seen in all living beings. Cellular organization means we are saying that metabolic reactions require enzymes. Produced by protoplasm, which is present in cell. In biology, the cell is one who is having protoplasm. Okay, the entity which is having the protoplasm content is called as cell. So we are saying produced by protoplasm, and these enzymes act inside or outside the cell. So that's why if cell is there, cellular organization must be there. So that's why cellular organization is considered to be present in all living beings. So it is again considered to be one of the property. Another defining property, or you can say unique character, or another defining property of living. That is called as cellular organization. This we call as cellular organization. Very, very clear. So that is why it is seen in all living beings. Fine. Okay, done. Done with this. Remember one thing. The cellular organism will be of two types. Organisms which are cellular. If I say cellular organisms, organisms are cellular. So they will be either unicellular or multicellular. Now I got a good enough reason why virus is non-living. Virus non-living, the reason is very clear. What? As it lacks cellular organization. Okay, fine. Cellular organization absent. Protoplasm absent. Protoplasm absent. Metabolism absent. Metabolism absent, growth absent, right? Life absent. Okay, a virus lacks cellular organization, lacks protoplasm, lacks metabolism, lacks growth, right? That is the thing about virus. That's why we are considering it as non-living. Okay, fine. Next is about consciousness. Now, we used to say it is seen in all living beings. But remember, consciousness is what? Consciousness is the ability to respond. We will say the consciousness is the reason behind ability to response, adapt with changes or due to stimulus. That is consciousness. Now this consciousness is of different types. Why? See, for example, certain plants require a certain duration of sunlight to bear flowers. Many animals are also showing a type of pattern of reproduction. Animals I am telling about in particular season, or they have a definite breeding season that is determined by the day length. Okay, means the same sunlight is going to be of different importance for the organism like human being which can breed throughout the year, for the organism which are breeding in a definite season, for the plants which are doing photosynthesis, the other which are not doing which are blooming their flowers in the night, not in the day, right? Means so many things are there which we can say that organisms are going to exhibit for the same type of stimulus. So consciousness level or the behavior to respond is not similar for all type of organisms. That's why we say that consciousness is present in all, but it is complicated, complex character. It is not that much simple, right? If sun intensity is very high, say for example, if it is 12 noon, in that cases I am trying to be in sunshade. Wherever it is possible, I am trying to get the shade, but the plant is loving it because they are getting light for doing photosynthesis. So our behaviors are not same. Okay, some nocturnal animals will be there, those who are trying to hide themselves during sunlight and they will come out during night. This is how we say that consciousness is not same for all type of organism. Consciousness gave us learning from our fault and every type of things. Say for example, a dog can be trained, right? But the dog cannot pass it on to the next generation. It cannot pass it to the puppies, right? A dog can be trained to identify the explosive, drugs, other things, right? But what we are doing, we know the thing as true, or you can simply say good or bad for us. We have a unique feature. Only human being are showing a feature that is called as self-consciousness, good and bad for ourselves. So just like some human trainer trained a dog to identify an explosive. Now that bomb disposal squad got some information to reach to the point and to dispose of the bomb, right? But what we are observing, a dog is going to lead that squad. That dog is going to identify whether the explosive is there or not. The other person, means the human being, are wearing some suits, not the dog, and they are following the dog to confirm whether the explosive is there or not. It means our self-consciousness is saying that wear this suit so that you can protect yourself from the explosion. But dog is not at all bothered that this explosive is going to blast and definitely I am getting killed. That is lack of self-consciousness in the dog, right? That type of thing we used to say. So they don't have self-consciousness. Just think, if self-consciousness is there in the animals, definitely the horse will say, now this is my turn to ride on your back. Now it's over, this is my turn. Definitely donkey will say to the master, now I am not going to take on your load further, right? You need to give me sufficient salary. I need to have green grasses. Don't feed me with dry grasses or straws. That is possible, obviously, but they don't have self-consciousness. This is what we are saying, that organisms are becoming different in that cases. And remember, here we say a cell is therefore consists of one part that is called as cytoplasm, which is forming the main arena for cellular activities or metabolism, and the second thing is called as genetic material, which is what we are saying regulation of functions, heredity, and undergoes evolution, right? And that is present in all organisms. Remember, cell is present in all organisms. Now here we need to know that organisms are present at different levels, but whatever be their level, they all have metabolic reactions in them, means interaction of molecules. If a bacteria is performing aerobic respiration and releasing CO2, that CO2 is given out because of the same kind of reaction is taking place in my mitochondria as well, or in my cells also. Okay, means we are physiologically equivalent to bacteria when we are giving out CO2 during respiration. It is all because of the chemical reaction that took place. That took place in the splitting of any organic molecule like glucose. When getting completely oxidized, it is liberating CO2. So that's why we say that all organisms are exhibiting the functions which are actually because of the reactions taking place in the cell. Okay, the reactions taking place in the cell, underlying interactions. All organisms exhibit functions because of certain underlying interactions. So this is about the type of organisms and their diverse forms, how the living is different from non-living. You need to be very clear about one thing, that you are supposed to attempt the daily practice papers so that you can improve the understanding of the topic. You have to read the NCERT, follow the class notes, do the practice paper. This is much enough for your preparation of the NEET exam. And by this strategy, we can actually getting assured for getting the seat in the good or prestigious medical college across the India, anywhere, wherever you wish. If you are more dedicated, if you are not getting distracted, if you are not getting deviated from your target, definitely you can make it. It's not at all difficult, remember. Anyone can get through the NEET exam, it's not difficult one. The thing is that people used to lose their confidence. So be confident, and for that you need to be practiced, you need to be trained. Here at Yup Master, we are training you at your best definitely to achieve your target. So let's dream about the prestigious medical college, and we are letting you to achieve your dream. Thank you for watching the classes. Those who are watching us on the YouTube live, I advise them to download the app, and so that they can attempt the daily practice paper as well as weekend exams that we are conducting on every Sundays. The daily practice paper are obviously along with each of the class. Okay, you can do the practice of the same topic in the same day. All the best. Stay safe, stay at your home, be safe. Thank you for watching Yup Master.